Wonders of the world will never cease to happen. Let's have a look at a very interesting news captured by Business Daily. Business Daily. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's office purchased curtains worth shillings 10.2 million last year, even as he joined his boss in insisting that austerity measures were inevitable in the government. Mr. Gachagwa's office spent a total of shillings 18.1 million on curtains and furniture alone. The Auditor General has disclosed in an accountability report on spending of public funds in the national government for the year ended June 2023. So curtains alone, 10.27 million, plus furniture, 18.14 million. That's regarding Gachagwa's office alone. So I don't understand what type of curtains those are that cost taxpayers money over 10 million. A same government saying they inherited broke coffers. And it's very much annoying that this is coming at a time when Kenyans are going through a lot of pain. Besides that, I want us to listen to a news item that was also captured by Citizen. Through that news item, we are being told that between July to December 2023, Ruto's government spent 51 billion in only 6 months. And some of the spendings are very laughable.
The numbers leaping off the pages of the Controller of Budgets report of government spending from July to December 2023 tells the tale of a government not just living beyond its means, but one that does so without following the laws. The Margaret Nyakang'o report shows spending running into tens of billions of shillings undertaken by government ministries, departments and agencies. The Controller of Budgets reports shows that working under the cover of Article 223 of the Constitution that allows ministries, departments and agencies to access additional funding if the amount appropriated is insufficient or if a need has arisen, the government used a whopping 51 billion shillings over 6 months on expenses, some of which were not emergencies. Among the expenditures incurred under this provision are the renovations at State House. The report shows that on the 23rd of October, State House accessed 700 million shillings for the construction of a modern presidential dais at State House Gardens. In July, 400 million shillings was allocated to State House for the purchase of motor vehicles. In August, the State Department for the EAC was allocated 16.3 million shillings for the purchase of a vehicle for a CS. 1.82 billion shillings was used for the stabilization of petroleum pump prices for August and September 2023. A further 2.4 billion shillings went to the purchase of relief food and non-food items by the State Department of Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, where the Ministry of Defense accessed 200 million shillings for support response to El Niño rains. The State Department for Crop and Development was given 2.24 billion shillings for the procurement of maize drying and storage facilities, and 1.58 billion shillings was approved by Treasury for the renovation of the KICC ahead of last year's African Climate Summit held there. While the law allows the government to draw funds under Article 223 provisions, the same law provides that consent of Parliament should be sought or obtained within 2 months of the withdrawals. Only 3.29 billion shillings spent had the requisite approvals. The report also exposes the government's priority in spending over the same period. The Exchequer disbursed 1.4 trillion shillings to various government departments. The lion's share of the amount 1.23 trillion shillings went to recurrent expenditure, while 291 billion shillings was spent on personnel emolument. A paltry 7.41 billion shillings was used by government agencies for development. The spending comes as the government's control of budget drew attention to the growing public debt that at the close of 2023 stood at 11.14 trillion shillings, exceeding the legal limit. Dr. Margaret Nyakang'o is now asking the government to curb its appetite for borrowing.
That's how William Ruto's government spent our money. 1.4 trillion Kenya shillings was disbursed. Out of this 1.4 trillion, luxuries took 1.23 trillion. That's luxury. Trips and such things. Personal emoluments, 291 billion Kenya shillings. Development, 70.4 billion shillings. That's between July to December. 6 months. So out of the 1.4 trillion disbursed, development only 70 billion. 90% of the amount disbursed went to luxury. These are facts from the controller of budget. These are not just stories. These are not hearsay. It's very much annoying, ladies and gentlemen, that out of 1.4 trillion Kenya shillings, only 70 billion was spent on development. Over 90% was spent on luxury. And then William Ruto goes around the country talking on how his government is serious about development, talking on how his government is all about uchumi. And when we say that Ruto's government has not initiated any project since he became the president, that's actually true. Most of the funds are going to entertainment and luxuries. And some Kenyans are saying, let's give them time. The more time William Ruto is being given, the more his government squanders public funds. And what we saw on Friday, 23rd, is that Kenya has also been added on the grey list. So as time goes by, things are going to be more difficult for Kenyans, courtesy to Ruto's bad policies and upside down priorities. I won't be wrong to conclude that Ruto is the worst president Kenya has ever had. He's very good when it comes to playing politics, but in terms of service delivery, his scores are zero. And some naive Kenyans are still saying, let's give him time. And another explanation for this, we all know that Ruto is always traveling outside the country. Anytime he is in the country, he's doing 2027 campaigns. He's never in his office to deliver. So you are seeing clearly how that money is being wasted. Trips every now and then. And we are also being told that 16.3 million was used to buy a car for a CS. A CS car being bought for 16.3 million taxpayers' money. This is massive spending. 400 million for the purchase of motor vehicles. A broke government buying several motor vehicles. This is serious. 1.82 billion for fuel subsidies. Ruto said that he was not to subsidize consumption, but it was going to subsidize production. Why now the fuel subsidies? And where did that fuel subsidy go? Because after all, fuel prices have been at their highest. Around this time, we were being told that there was a subsidy. Fuel in Kenya was actually higher than all our neighboring counterparts, the neighboring countries. Where did 1.8 billion Kenya shillings go to? Because Kenyans never saw anything like a fuel subsidy. Again, State House renovation, 700 million construction of a modern presidential dais at State House Garden, just a dais alone, 700 million. This is a government milking Kenyans dry. If Kenyans can't see this, then I'm very, very sorry. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe in order not to miss our next analysis. Let's meet in our next video.